Today we're going to discuss the different reasons why kids go off the derech. In other words, off the derech, for those who are not familiar, are kids, Jewish kids who are religious and go leave the fold and stop being religious. I guess, unfortunately, some people consider sometimes within Judaism that if you're of a specific group of Jews, for example, Hasidic, or I guess it mostly happens by Hasidim, but it can be also yeshivish or whatever. You belong to a certain group and you go out of the group and you start still being religious in a different way. You're also considered off the derech. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the Jews who are completely leaving Judaism. And the question is why? Why is this happening? There's so many Jews going off the derech today. It's thousands. There are thousands of Jews going off the derech. It's a big problem, and it's something that needs to be addressed. So, what are the reasons? Obviously, there are many reasons, but I'm going to point out the most important reasons. And we have to understand that the first thing, before I give all the reasons, we have to understand that those kids are not rebellious kids. Those kids are kids who are in pain, and they don't rebel because they want to rebel. No kids really want to rebel against his parents or something that he feels good about. Kids that are reacting to something that is in a way a healthy reaction, but it's a reaction to something that is broken inside them or in the system, and therefore they are going away from it. They're running away because it hurts them, or they're not able to connect to it anymore. So it's a healthy reaction, and we have to be careful not to hate them or look down on them or think they have that they're negative soul, they have big problems. No, I mean there are certain problems, some because of the whatever problem they encountered that we're going to discuss now, but those are in 99.9% of the cases very holy souls and the best kids in the world, and very, very unique individual, and they go out because they can't stand whatever we're going to discuss. So, reason number one, which is the most taboo and the most important to, in a way, discuss or to say, is trauma. And the number one reason for kids of the derech, we're probably speaking about 80%, maybe even 90% of the cases of a kid, a child, a teenager that goes off the derech. That's because of trauma, abuse, molestation. So again, there are all different types of abuse, but it's something that is unfortunately very true that is happening, and unfortunately people don't talk about it, don't do anything about it, and don't even persecute or pursue the people who have done the wrong thing. So, but 80 to 90% of the kids, I'm talking from experience from the expert in the matter, that's what they say. And so trauma can go from sexual abuse to which is the most common, to emotional abuse, to physical abuse, and we have to be look at those kids, therefore, with tremendous rahmanus, with tremendous love and pity for them, that they are suffering so much from those traumas that they drop everything and they run away from it. Is the most natural reaction human will have. You run away from pain, and that's why many of them go in drugs and alcohol and stuff like that to numb the pain. Now, there are some traumas that are not very they are not terrible, but it can be a child has been humiliated in class by his Rebbe or her teacher. It can be a trauma that comes from being screaming at each time he asks a question, or it can be a divorce of the parents or stuff like that. So that's the most common one, and we have to be very aware of it. Very often the kids is not going to speak about it, and therefore we have to be patient and try to work with the kid and love them and give them anything they need in order to stay healthy. We have to be clear. A Jew cannot be religious. Any human being cannot be religious, especially in Judaism, if they are not healthy. You need health, mental health, emotional health, and physical health, and then you can be religious. You cannot try to make someone religious if he's not healthy. Sometimes religion help make someone healthier, but for when you speak about trauma, you need to be healthy before being from. That's number one. Number two is Shimon Russell actually mentions that the second most common cause of kids going off the derech are kids who don't fit in the system for many different reasons. They were not good academically in schools, and they were not able to be as good as the other kids, and therefore they feel they have very low self-esteem, and they don't feel they belong there. They don't feel Torah Judaism is for them because they don't fit, and therefore if I don't fit, I'm going to go somewhere else where I could fit. So we have to make sure, we're not speaking about solutions now, but the idea is that all the kids who don't fit, we have to make sure that we don't look at them that you have to be just that way, otherwise there's nothing else. You can be from religious and loved by God in many different ways, and there's not just one size fits all in Judaism. That's number two. Number three is experience Judaism as boring and as a forced labor. If your Judaism is negative, if the kids are bored on Shabbos, and sometimes it comes from the parents being too strict, or the yeshiva is too strict. They cannot play basketball, they cannot play sport, they cannot do music, they can whatever. There are absolutely no external stimulus. They're gonna react to that. A healthy human being needs some type of sometimes creativity, some physical exercise or stuff like that. So I've heard some rabbanim that say one should not have a yeshiva without a gym, without a sport. The kids who are healthy, they need to do stuff. Only 10% of the kids can really, about 10% of the kids can stay the whole day in front of a Gemara in general. Unless you make it very exciting, then I think most of the kids will be able to, but most teachers are not able to make Judaism exciting because they're not trained for that. So experience Judaism as a boring or forced labor, if you have to do because this is what God says so, or you go to hell, or because there's no emotions, there's no pleasure, there's no satisfaction, there's no excitement, there's no reward, then a child is going to run away from it. Number four, a bad school, a bad teacher. Obviously, a lot of the things we say are connected, but we have to kind of differentiate a bit the different parts. There are teachers sometimes hit the kids. It's a bit connected to trauma maybe, but the schools who are extremely strict or schools who teach Judaism in a way that is that doesn't connect you to God. You can teach a lot of information, but it can be completely devoid of any connection with God. It's all about learning and remembering things, and that's a robot can do that. The whole idea of Judaism is to be able to take your knowledge and apply it and feel and connect to Hashem with it. A teacher who don't allow kids to ask questions, and teacher were afraid to say, I don't know, I'm going to look for the answer. teacher who refuse questions like how do we know there's a God, or how do we know the Torah is true, and that's to push a kid away, and he's going to look for answers in science or other religions, even if they're not true. But that's a very big thing. A teacher has to be very, very careful. It's enough that you have one bad teacher, one bad Rebbe, one bad Mora, and destroy your entire Judaism, your entire love. One part of Judaism, let's say Gemara or Chumash, and they learn that in a way that is negative, the teacher is going to make it negative, then all other areas of their Judaism is going to be affected, and he's not going to want to have anything to do with it. So be careful of the teacher and be careful of the school. Number 5, that's more a chinuch problem, parenting, no reaction to what they do right or wrong. Kids, to feel love, need consequences. When we judge someone and it's done out of love, you're going to give punishment, reward. Unfortunately, we give much more punishment than reward, and it should not be like that. We should make sure to have a lot of reward and little punishment. But the punishment have to be punishment that makes sense, that the kids understand why it's being punished, and we need to discuss with the kids the things. But to let the kids do anything, I'm thinking a normal kid, not someone who has in trauma, a healthy kid in a healthy environment, and they need consequences. You work for something, you get something. You don't work for it, you don't get it, and that's an extremely important thing. Otherwise, the kids get or spoiled or think nothing matters. If they don't feel that there is consequence, they feel nothing matters, so they're gonna do whatever they want. They don't feel loved, and they're gonna react against you because of that. Number 6, they don't feel independent at all, and have therefore no self-esteem. Meaning, we don't. The kids have to feel that eventually this is my choice. To be religious or not is my choice. If a parent makes the child feel that he has to do this because that's what his parents want, but God wants, and he has absolutely no free choice in it, then it's a type of being a slave. Then what's the point? I'm just a robot following orders. A child is going to strive for independency. Many Rabbanim explain, the Chos Talmidim especially, that chinuch means becoming independent. Independent means that I'm going to make my own choice. We have to push our kids to make the right and wrong choice, to make a choice, and to do it on their own. And even if they make mistake, it's okay. They have to feel that it's their choice. And I push it a bit further than other Rabbanim maybe, that kids have to feel it's their choice whether they want to be religious or not. And we have to explain what the good and what's the bad. And we have to show them that we love them not based on how religious they are and not based on their choice. I'm going to love them whatever choice you do. Am I going to be happy or not? Yeah, I'm not going to be happy if you do, you're not religious. I'm not going to be happy if you choose bad. But I'm going to love you no matter what. My love is unconditional. That's what Hashem tells to us. I love you no matter what. But I'm going to be upset if you make averos. So we as parents, we cannot tell the kids that I'm going to stop loving you based on how religious he is. I'm going to love you no matter what. And the child will be the strongest as a child who chooses to be religious because they know it's good. But you have to teach them it's good. You have to teach them why it's the right choice. Parents sometimes don't know how to explain the outside world, or afraid to explain the problem of the outside world, or they don't know how to explain why making the right choice. Then the parents has to ask himself that. But the kids need to feel some kind of independence, that he wants to do it because he wants, not because he's forced to do it by someone else. Every kid is going to rebel, so to speak, about that. Every human being. It's a necessary element for, as a human, that's our free choice. And if we don't allow our kids to use their free choice, they're going to use it anyway against you that time. So that's very important. And number 7, bad relationship between the parents. If the house is the parents are divorced, or there's fights, or it's a house of screaming anger, we can't be hypocrites. The kids learned the whole day, have good midos, good character traits, be a good human being, be a mensch, be nice, don't speak evil, don't scream, don't be angry. And then they come home and they see parents who scream at each other, who cry, who lie, they speak lashon hara, who watch things they shouldn't watch, whatever. Then the kids are going to do the same thing. Say, "Oh, you want me to be religious and look how you act?" That's ridiculous. So you cannot expect your kids to be not like you act. And if they see that they teach them something in school and you act differently as a human being, and say this religion is it's fake. Look at my parents. Look at right. So we have to be very careful the way the parents are home. The more love, the more peace, the more calmness, the more sensitivity, the more truth and happiness there is, the better it is. Now I want to finish with one thing that's very important to know, is that sometimes, and that's maybe 1% or 0.1%, but in Kabbalah they speaks about the fact that there's certain souls that are the Erev Rav, that come from the Erev Rav, and those souls are not really Jewish, and therefore they leave the Jewish people. First of all, we cannot think like that, because when you have a suffix, you have to be machmir, and you don't hold that you can be stringent and say, oh yeah, that's probably who is. No, that's not your business. Your business is to love that soul and make sure you bring that soul, you heal that soul. If there's someone who's leaving and you don't know the reason, and it could be that one of the reasons is that it's an Erev Rav, it's the soul that is converted for the wrong reason as in the past, in the history, and now it comes back and it's going to leave anyway. Then that's meant to be. That's Hashem's running the show, but we can't go really against in that philosophy and thinking, oh, that's probably my child is like that. You have to love your child. You have to save every child. You cannot imagine that your child is an evil soul or something like that. Not necessarily evil soul, but a soul that is not meant to be Jewish. Okay, I think we spoke about the 7 main reasons, and all of those kids, you have to love them, and you have to ask them for forgiveness for everything, all the bad stuff that we have done wrong. Because really, from people, the religious people, the rabbis, the teachers, the parents who have done wrong to them, and that's why they're going away. Again, 99% of the case. So may we be aware and try to help all of those kids who are really yearning for truth, love, and happiness, and true real Torah.